Hey guys, welcome back to my channel today. In today's video, we are going to be doing a dupe video, so to speak. This is kind of new for me, so do let me know down below if you want to do more of these types of videos. But this video is actually testing whether or not this Tarte Breezy Cream Bronzer is actually a dupe for the Chanel Soleil de Tan. Now, the Soleil de Tan version that I have is the old version, which is now discontinued. The new version is coming under a lot of fire because although Chanel said that they weren't going to change the formula, they did. My friend Mel Thompson did a great video on the old versus the new and the formulas and all that stuff, so I would highly encourage you to check out that video if you are interested. This video is basically going to see whether or not this new Tarte cream bronzer is actually a dupe for the old Soleil de Tan. One thing I wanted to point out first right away is I was looking at the ingredient list for the Tarte cream bronzer, and a lot of you guys had a major issue with the fact that the new Chanel Le Beige Tanner, which is basically the name for the new Soleil de Tan, has coconut oil as the second ingredient, I believe, which is a really, really large concentration within the ingredient list. The highest concentration or the highest percentage of ingredients are listed first, then it goes down to the bottom. Some people are fine with coconut oil, others are not. Some people claim that coconut oil causes acne. It is a comedogenic product, so it does clog pores fairly easily, just keep that in mind. But I wanted to kind of let you guys know that looking at the ingredient list of the new Tarte cream bronzer, which is this guy here, which by the way, it's so cute and blue. This is like totally my aesthetic. I love the minty blue packaging of this, but we'll get into that. So looking at the back of the box, I also noticed that there is coconut oil in this Tarte product, but it is towards the bottom of the ingredient list and not towards the top. So that could be really promising for those of you that have an issue with coconut oil because it's listed towards the bottom, meaning the concentration is less in this Tarte product and could therefore give you a better result with your skin when you're using the Tarte product versus the Chanel. Unfortunately, the old formula of the Soleil de Tan is no longer available. Like I mentioned, I'm hearing so many things about that this is a duplicate, so let's get started. All right, now first of all, let's talk about the price point between the two of them. This is very interesting because a lot of you guys would right away think that the Tarte one has got to be more affordable than the Chanel. And interestingly, this is what I've come across based on the research that I've done. So Chanel.com, which is the main website for the brand, has stated that the new Le Beige Healthy Glow Cream Bronzer is a 1 ounce product, which is a 30-gram product approximately. I think technically 1 ounce is about 28.3 or 28.4 grams, but on the packaging it says 30. So we'll leave it at 30, and Chanel is listing that at $50 US. The Tarte product, which I have in front of me here, this one is, let me see, this one is 16 grams or 0.56 ounces, which is just about over half of what the Chanel Soleil de Tan product is. And this retails for 29 American dollars. Technically, this product by Tarte is actually more expensive because this is just about a half ounce or just a bit over at 29 US dollars. This is a full ounce at 50. If you double the Tarte amount of product to equal the Chanel, it is then 60 US dollars. So technically you're spending a little bit more money per gram of product with the Tarte one. So one could be really frustrated with that, or on the other hand, it could be also interesting because if you're a makeup collector or a makeup fan like myself and you do have a ton of products to use up or to enjoy, often having a little bit less of a product is actually not that bad considering that you probably don't go through as much makeup as someone who has very little product. So it just depends on how you look at it. If you think that the price per gram is really important, take note with that. Or if you have so much makeup that it doesn't really matter because you're not hitting pan anytime soon, perhaps the half ounce product will be better because you can actually go through the product and you won't risk the product expiring on you. Next, let's talk about the shade. We're also going to apply them to the cheek as well. So I'm going to do one side with the old formula and the other side with the Tarte product, just so that we can truly tell if this is a dupe or not. But when it comes to shade, you guys, we are pretty close. We do have a glare coming off of the lights here, so I'm going to move them in a little closer and zoom in. So here we go, you guys. As you can see, the product is really close. The Tarte one might be slightly cooler than the Chanel, but all in all, I think it's really close. And if this is with regards to performance a true dupe, then I'm really excited, because that way this gives you a very similar shade and a much better formula, especially if you are not wanting the coconut oil in such a high concentration. Chanel says that you can apply the Soleil de Tan with a foundation brush. You can also use a beauty blender. So I use a beauty blender just so I can, you know, really bounce it in and blend it to make it a nice gradient look, especially when I've already got my base product on. So that's what we're going to do. I will also show you swatches side by side towards the end so you can see a little bit more on how it's translating on my skin. But let's do a demo here and just kind of see how they perform, because I'm really curious. I'm gonna pull my mirror up a little bit, and today we're just like pretty casual. I'm wearing just like a very basic pullover sweater, but I figured that I would do a quick demonstration of these because literally that's all I've been getting is like, don't worry, the new Tarte cream bronzer is a dupe, so you don't have to worry about the new formula. So that's really exciting. So I'm going to first apply, this is the Chanel on this side of my face. So it's starting to come along. I just barely dabbed it into the product. Nice and smooth with the beauty blender. You can see I like to work it up into the hairline a little bit, just up on there, just so there's like a nice sun-kissed glow. And I like to do patting motions instead of a drag, just because with my base product already on my face, I don't want to like smear it around necessarily. It's already been set. All right, so we're getting a little bit deeper. So you can kind of see that I would blend it in definitely a little bit more, but I'm gonna hold it here just so that we can see how the Tarte one looks on the other side of my face, because I wouldn't leave it like this. I definitely would blend it out a bit more, but this is just going to show like how it's translating on my face. I don't want to blend it in too much so that we can't see a true definition of the difference between them. So I'm gonna flip over my beauty blender and do the other side with this Tarte product. Oh gosh, guys. So I was right, it definitely translates cooler on the skin. Can you guys see the difference right there? So from here to here, it's definitely like warmer on the Chanel side and cooler on the Tarte side. You can definitely see that. When it comes to performance with regards to the actual product, both are very, very easy to apply to the skin. You can see with the beauty blender, it translates really easily. What I'm doing is a slight wipe into the product pans and it's picking up beautifully. I feel like it's very easy to maneuver. If I have too much, I can blend it out. Or if you want and you're like really streaky, you can just go in with your foundation again and like kind of go over top of it and you can start over basically. That's kind of like one of my tips, because I feel like if I screw up something like that and I just look too splotchy, it's very easy to go over with your foundation. So you can see we're blending in the Tarte one quite a bit. This one is still a little bit more apparent on the skin, so I'm just gonna blend it in a little bit more. But you can see the difference, at least in my opinion, how it looks on my skin. So this is gonna depend on, I guess for me, if you're okay with a bit of a cooler bronzer, some people are okay with that because you can actually contour a little bit with a cooler product versus a warmer product. That's just kind of something that I've noticed is like a contour is a bit more of a cooler, like a shadow looks more of a cooler, you know, kind of translation on the skin. Whereas like a bronzer can be a little warmer and that's okay. But I mean, you do you, like I said, makeup is so fun to experiment with, but do makeup how you see fit and how confident you feel with it, because that's the end goal. You're the one that's going to be wearing it at the end of the day. You have to do what makes you feel the most confident. I also think that a lot of you really, really want a product that doesn't have the coconut oil as the like second ingredient. Therefore, I think that when it comes to performance of application anyways, I'll definitely check in when it comes to longevity of this product towards the end of the day when I do like my check-in. But I would say for application, these guys are on par. I feel like they're both very easy to control. They're both very pigmented when it comes to like just translating off a beauty blender, which is my preferred method of application. I haven't really ever done the Chanel with a foundation brush. I just haven't thought to. It's not really my preference. They both apply to the skin super easily, super pigmented, and very easy to diffuse out. So I'm gonna add highlight and blush and I'll be right back. Okay, so the last step is to set. I'm just using the Glow Recipe Watermelon Mist for today. And I'm just gonna like target my cheeks, forehead, a little bit of my chin. one spritz onto the nose. And that's just gonna add a little bit more glow, more sheen to the skin. One of my favorite setting sprays by far. Now I'm gonna check in at the end of the day and see how these wear. This is going to be the final portion of whether or not this is a true dupe. If they do wear the same and they're like melting into the skin as the day goes on, in the same kind of manner, we do have a winner with the exception of a bit of a cooler shade versus a warmer shade. So I will come back at the end of the day for the final result. Okay, so I'm also switching to vlog mode so we can kind of see in like natural everyday light kind of how this looks. So you can see that it looks, this is the Chanel side and this is the Tarte side. So they're like subtly different. But to someone that isn't like really into makeup, I don't think they could actually quite tell a difference. Like this one's obviously slightly cooler still, and that one's slightly warmer, but the difference on the skin is really, really close. It's been about 12 hours since I did step 1 with regards to applying each bronzer to the cheek. And as you can see, it's looking really good still. Like the flawlessness of both bronzers are looking fantastic. Probably why there were so many fans of the original Chanel Soleil de Tan, which is, rest in peace, unfortunately no longer with us. For fun, I asked my husband which side he liked better, just kind of for pure enjoyment. And he said actually the Tarte side he liked slightly better, and I asked him why, and he said he wasn't sure. So I feel like that's just like a typical man response, but kind of funny to note that I'm thinking it was probably because it was a bit cooler on that side, that he thought it was more of a favorable sculpt of the face versus the warmer side, but that's just preference, right? From my vlog footage, you could tell that it was very subtle with regards to how close the shades were. So do I think this is a dupe? I would say not 100%, because if you look at the swatches and when I was applying it to my face initially, there is a difference in coolness versus warmness of the product. So between them, there is a definite discernible difference. However, this is why I think this is actually a good buy for those of you that are going to miss the original Soleil de Tan. This has much less of a concentration of coconut oil, which is a comedogenic ingredient. The second thing is that on the skin, once it's blended in, really the difference is very, very slight. When I asked my husband, he didn't have any idea. Cooler one looked a little better because I forced him basically to pick a side, but he said the differences were very subtle. My vlog footage, same thing, showing on the skin how it's blended, how the difference between them is pretty minimal. So I think this is a good product nonetheless to pick up if you're interested. This is definitely a very easy to use cream bronzer, and I would say that this is as close to the original Chanel as you are going to get. Anyways, guys, I hope this video was helpful for you. Do let me know down below what you think of both the products. Until my next one, guys, take care. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, guys.
You and me, everything that we've been through has made us strong. You won't believe we've had our gray, but somewhere there's a light inside of us. It shows the way.